All right, today we are diving into a really powerful and, I gotta say, heart-wrenching short story. It's called Mr. Moti by the Bangladeshi writer Rahat Abir. At its core, it's a story about a mother's fear, a son's ambition, and, how love can find the most unexpected places to land. The story kicks off with this one single, desperate question. A mother, Sonavahan, asks her 17-year-old son, Amin, "You want to leave me alone?" And right there, in that one line, the whole conflict of the story is laid bare, this deep, primal terror of being abandoned. So, picture this. We're in rural Bangladesh. A war has just broken out. And Amin, he just announces right after supper that he's going to join. For his mother, Sanaban, who has raised him all by herself, well, this isn't just news. This is her worst nightmare coming to life right in front of her. And the dynamic between them is just so stark. On one side, you've got Sonaban. She's the protective mother whose entire world is built around this one boy. And on the other side, you've got Amin. He's young, he's stubborn, and the story makes it really clear he's not driven by patriotism, he's just fascinated with the idea of fighting itself. What's really fascinating is how Sanabahan sees her son's decision. To her, this isn't some brave act of courage. No. She sees in him that same reckless, stubborn streak that defined her late husband. A guy who loved violent stuff like bullfighting and cockfighting. She's literally watching history repeat itself, and she feels completely powerless to stop it. So as Sonaban feels her human son slipping away from her, all those maternal instincts, they don't just vanish. Instead, they find a new and honestly a pretty surprising place to focus.
It's a powerful question, right? When the one person you've poured all your love and protection into just pushes you away, where does all that energy go? Well, for Sonaban, the answer is not at all what you'd expect.
Yep, all her affection, her fear, her deep, deep need to protect someone, it all gets transferred onto Moti, who's actually Amin's young rooster. This little bird suddenly becomes the new center of her entire universe. And this is the absolute turning point. When other people confront her about this rooster, she makes this incredible declaration. He is my son. And she means it. It's not just a cute phrase. In her heart, Moti has been elevated from just some farm animal to a surrogate child, one she feels like she can actually keep safe. So all that anxiety she feels for Amin, who's now totally beyond her control, it gets channeled into this fierce, almost obsessive protection of Moti. But of course, the outside world just keeps closing in. You can just feel the tension building. First, a neighbor threatens her because Moti wandered into her yard, okay? Then, some local boys see Moti and they don't see a son, they see a potential fighter. Something for sport, for gambling. It's the exact thing she fears in her own son's character, and her refusal is just absolute. No way. And this is where you really see how deep that connection goes. After the neighbor complains, she tries to discipline Moti by keeping him cooped up for a day. But his sadness, what the story calls his forlorn captivity, it causes her physical pain. It crucifies her. His suffering is her suffering. She just can't stand to see him unhappy. In a story so filled with the fear of loss, you kind of feel like the inevitable is coming. But when it doesn't arrive with the loud violence of war. It arrives with this profound and just terrifying silence. Just think about that for a second. For a woman living this life, a rooster's crow is the sound of a new day. It's the sound of life itself. So for that sound to be gone, it's a void. It's this chilling announcement that something is deeply, terribly wrong, even before she sees anything. Oh man, the description of her finding him is just devastating. The details are so precise, so tender. The cold body, the closed eyes, and that final image of his kingly head down. The dignity and life she saw in him is just gone. And with it, the last thing she felt she could protect. But the story doesn't end right there. Instead, it pulls us deeper. It basically breaks down the anatomy of her grief, showing us through these really powerful symbols how this one small death has completely hollowed out her entire world. The way the author builds this feeling of devastation is just brilliant. First, she buries Moti right next to her husband, putting those two losses on the same level. Then the word empty is repeated over and over like a drumbeat. The empty yard, the empty veranda, the empty home. It's a physical description of what's going on inside her. And finally, the closed door. Her home, which was once open, is now sealed shut from the world. And this final image, it is just chilling. Because life is going on outside. Her other animals, her other responsibilities, they're all calling out. But Sonaban is completely shut down. By not letting them out, she's basically quit her role as a caretaker, as a nurturer. The loss of her surrogate son has severed her connection to the entire world and really to her own identity. And that's the question Mr. Moti really leaves us with. It shows us that sometimes the grief we feel for a small creature isn't really just about that creature, is it? It's a vessel for all our other fears and all our other losses, for a son who went to war, for a husband who's long dead, and for a life that's been defined by the constant, terrifying threat of being left completely and utterly alone.